Hello friends, and welcome back to Stay Tonight. This is Abhishek. In this video, we will be talking about what are the differences between an Rdbms database and a NoSQL database. We are a little late in creating this video because NoSQL databases have been there since a while now, and MongoDB is one of the most popular example. I'm pretty sure that all of you must have heard about. So in this video, I'll give you a brief overview of how you can judge based on your application requirement whether you should go with Rdbms database or a NoSQL database. So let's start by understanding what these databases are and how they differ, what are the characteristics of both, and what are the pros and cons of both of these databases. So starting with Rdbms, these databases have been here since a while now, and they are built, well tested, widely implemented in a lot of applications. Oracle, MySQL, MS SQL, IBM, DB2 all are based on Rdbms concept, and these are some of the most excessively used databases out there in the industry right now. Our website, straightright.com, is also using a MySQL database. Now, based on the complexity of the product that we are building and the requirements, I wouldn't say complexity, but the need of unstructured data led us to start using NoSQL database as well, which is my MongoDB. So now we have two databases in place. So let's focus on Rdbms database first. So as I said, it is mature, proven, well-tested, and widely implemented. So it won't be very difficult when you want to implement Rdbms database, and you can easily find tutorials. You can easily find well-written guides on whatever stack that you want to implement. It can be an old stack like LAMP stack, or you can also use MySQL database or Oracle databases with the modern React.js and Node.js applications as well. So Rdbms works based on tables. So we all know, all of you must have studied this in your college or while doing your jobs. So Rdbms data is based on tables. The structure, the schema is created, and various tables are created. Tables have a relationship between them, and that is the core concept around Rdbms, Relational Database Management System. That relationships are created between tables. The schema is a fixed schema that you have to define in advance what structure your table will have. That means all the columns that will be there in the table, what will be the data type of that column, what sort of data it will store in itself. So all of these things have to be pre-set. It has to be fixed. Then to access the data from Rdbms, we use SQL, again something that is widely used, and again a lot of you might already have knowledge about SQL. It stands for Structured Query Language, which is used to insert, update, read data from Rdbms databases. Then another very important thing that is about Rdbms is it supports transaction, and ACID guarantees are provided. Now when I say ACID, I mean atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. So these are very important aspects when we are creating a large enterprise software. So these things are very important. For example, if you're creating something for financial market, or if you're creating some application which involves serious data transactions, then Rdbms database is a wise choice because data consistency is taken care of very well using Rdbms. While a lot of things are sorted in NoSQL as well, but still I would recommend that go with an Rdbms database. Oracle is a very good choice. It's a paid software, but if again if you're building something big, if you have the security and the structure, the consistency of data is very important for you, then you have to go with Rdbms. Coming to the cons, I would say Rdbms is a little less scalable compared to NoSQL. Distributed setup is a bit tedious, and mostly when we use Rdbms, and what I have seen around is that people scale vertically. They don't go with horizontal scaling, they scale vertically. That is, they increase the power of the machine that is running their Rdbms database rather than creating a distributed setup with Rdbms database, because the parent-child setup doesn't work well with Rdbms. People have such setups, but then in that setup, the primary machine is used for insertions of data into the databases, but read is supported by the whole cluster that is set up. So when I say cluster, that means that there are multiple servers running the same database setup, the same Rdbms setup, and replicas are created. So some RDBMS databases also provide replica features, but not all provide that. So I would say, to summarize this, I can say that RDBMS is not cloud ready, whereas NoSQL databases, because these are modern databases, they are cloud ready. Now coming to NoSQL. Now NoSQL doesn't mean that it is just it doesn't support SQL. There is a different way of querying data from these databases, but just to keep it drastically opposite, the name NoSQL immediately informs that okay, this is not the traditional databases. The primary feature of a NoSQL database would be that it can store data without a structure, and that is something that in itself can be confusing, but once you understand it, it is one of the best features that the NoSQL database has, that you don't have to worry about the structure of your data beforehand. For example, if you're creating a new application, if you're developing a new application and you're not yet sure that what will be the data structure of the data that you are going to save in your database. So in that case, MongoDB or CouchDB, Redis, there are so many NoSQL databases. Those are very good choice, and they're easily available on cloud. All these databases are available as cloud service, and you have to pay a very nominal fees to start using them. As you develop your website, the structure changes, so you don't have to worry about the older data had a different structure, the new data had a different structure. You just have to fix the handling of that in your code, and things should be sorted. Although it is not recommended, but yes, these things happen. For example, we are creating an interactive course on our website, statenight.com. We started with HTML, CSS, now moved on to JavaScript, and we initially thought that the structure of the application will stay the same, but HTML, CSS were comparatively easier to implement, and with JavaScript, a compiler came into picture, which is based on Node.js. So the structure in which the data is being stored, that is used to deliver the interactive course, got changed with JavaScript, and it was easier for us because we were using MongoDB. And if we would have used MySQL for that, we would have faced a lot of problems. But that's okay, that's a different story altogether. We'll cover it in a different video. So because the data is not structured in NoSQL, so there is no foundation of setting up relationship. The performance is very high. In case of MySQL or in case of RDBMS, the data has to be inserted in a certain relationship, has to be maintained. In case of NoSQL, there is no such liability of maintaining a relationship. So the data insertion is super speedy sometimes. So there are different databases in NoSQL as well, which are write intensive or read intensive. So you have to choose based on your use case whether you want data. If you want to, for example, collect analytics data, so you have to pick some database in NoSQL which is which conducts write operations very fast. And if you have a requirement where you want to read data too much, so based on that you have to decide what database you want to have. Ease of use is a very big plus point, which I've already mentioned, that deployment is easier, it's available on cloud, the pricing is cheaper, the scalability part is sorted, you don't have to worry about the structure of data. So ease of use is a big plus point. Scalability, again, because it's available on cloud, you don't have to worry about how will I scale my database once my application starts getting too much traffic. The data that I said is unstructured, so it's mostly in JSON format, although there are different formats. So the main 3-4 types of format that are available in NoSQL is document storage. So document style storage is done again in form of JSON data. Then there is key value pair, which is followed by Redis, which is a very popular in-memory cache system as well. Then there is wide column storage and graph storage. Graph storage is in which the data is stored in form of graph, nodes, and all that. And it's very useful when it comes to searching data from a NoSQL database. Apart from this, as I've said multiple times, that NoSQL databases are available on cloud, so they are easily scalable, and horizontal scaling is also very easy, and they're a very good choice when you don't have to worry about how to maintain the database and all that stuff. Now coming to the differences of when to choose what, that is very important that you should know, although I've covered most of the points in detail in this video, so you should have a better idea by now that what to choose when, but still I'll cover a few points more to help you better decide which one to choose for your next project or application, or in general, you should know the differences if you are going for an interview, right? So if you don't want to get involved into writing too many queries, too many complex queries which involves joins and all that stuff, then NoSQL is a very good choice in case of generating reports from many tables. It's very easy to use a NoSQL database than it is in an RDBMS. The next difference would be deployment. If you have enough time to manage a RDBMS database which is deployed on a high resource intensive machine, then it's okay. You can choose RDBMS. Again, if you are into developing a enterprise level solution which involves financial transactions or data which is very important to have a better consistency with, then RDBMS is a good choice. Otherwise, NoSQL databases are a good choice because they're easily available on cloud as service. You can pay as you go. Scalability is easier, but yes, at times the consistency part can be missed a little bit. When it comes to workload, I think NoSQL databases perform well than RDBMS databases, although I've seen companies where RDBMS databases like Oracle are being used, where data is coming in high volumes and it's still able to manage it using partitions and all that stuff. But yes, NoSQL databases are a better choice when your application is a high workload. In case of NoSQL, you don't have to worry about normalization of data, and denormalized data can be saved. Structure is not an issue. In case of RDBMS, you have to make sure that tables are normalized and the relationships have to be set. So that is again one overhead that people, I think, in the modern era don't want to get into. And the last point is that RDBMS databases are less distributed, whereas NoSQL databases are more distributed. You'll find a NoSQL database hosting in almost all the popular hosting services these days. In AWS, Google, or Azure, or any other popular service, in one click, you can do the setups. I would recommend MongoDB Atlas as it is a very great service, again cloud-based setup which MongoDB is providing themselves, super cheap, initially free almost, and then you can scale based on your requirements. Has a very good reporting dashboard. We are personally using that, so that's why I'm promoting it so much. But that's a very good choice when it comes to using NoSQL databases. In Redis as well, Redis Lab is also providing the same cloud-based offering in which you can choose your server to be set on AWS or DigitalOcean or different other services, cloud hosting services. It is not that expensive to start with, free to begin with, and then you can pay as you go. So these are very good options in case of NoSQL. And now you know what differences to look for, what points to focus on when you have to choose what database, be it RDBMS or NoSQL. So with this, let's end this video. I hope you like this video. If you have enjoyed, or if this video helped you in any way, do give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Almost 94% of the people who watch our video do not subscribe. We just get a conversion of 6%, which is very less. And I'm requesting you, to press the subscribe button, press the bell icon so that you get notified by YouTube whenever I post a video, and we will surely be, bringing in more content for you guys, more informative content like this. So keep watching and happy coding.